Hey guys, it's Matt here. I was going to show you, I recently showed on the Share Your Collection thread how I got a Roland MT-32 synthesizer module, which was sort of like this was the top-end audio hardware to have back in the late 80s and early 90s on the PC gaming front, so I was really excited to finally get that. And I did get in my USB to MIDI adapter. This is a Roland UM-ONE USB to MIDI converter. And I have that configured and running in DOSBox, and it's really cool. It actually runs and controls the Roland MT-32 directly from within DOSBox, and it sends the information straight to the MT-32 just like it would if you were, running it on an actual computer loaded with DOS and using an MPU 401 MIDI interface card. But anyway, I was going to show you the difference of the improvement in sound. And first of all, I'll start off. I'll use Space Quest 1 Enhanced version, which is the re-release of the original Space Quest that they did with VGA graphics and updated music and sound effects. So to start off with, let me show you what it sounds like if you didn't have even a Sound Blaster card, if you were stuck with just your PC speaker. So let's let this spin up. It does take a second to start, but yeah, for years, it wasn't I think until 1991 that I ended up working all summer, mowing lawns and doing whatever I could to earn some cash, and saved up enough to get my Sound Blaster card. And before that, this is what it sounded like. You can hear this was just using the PC beeper, as we used to call it. So I'll let you listen to that. Alright, that's enough of that. Really painful by modern standards to listen to music and sound effects over just a simple PC speaker. Let's get out of that. Now I'm going to reconfigure it so you can see what it sounded like using a just standard Sound Blaster card. And the Sound Blaster was sort of like the it was just the standard card back in the day. That's what your everyday gamer would normally have in their PCs. It was affordable. I think I paid $149 for mine when I got it. So it wasn't cheap, but again, compared to the Roland MT-32, which itself cost over $500. Plus you had to buy the MIDI interface card, and then you also, on top of that, would have had to have another sound card if you want to have digital sound effects. So it was really expensive to go the high-end Roland route. But this way, if you had the Sound Blaster, you had everything in one for $150, later $100. And it sounded pretty good, you'll hear it. It used standard FM synthesis. So again, if you had just come from the world of the PC speaker, this sounded amazing. This was actually really incredible. It was nice. Used the Yamaha FM synthesis chip. I think what was it, the YM-2351? And again, huge step up from just a standard PC speaker, because not only did you get the nice FM music, but as you'll see here in a second, you also got the digital sound effects as well, including digital speech and other effects.
The first sequence is engaged. 15 minutes till destination.
So as you can see, it sounds really good. I mean, this blew my mind. It went from playing my Sierra Adventure games with just the PC speaker to having the full Sound Blaster experience. It was really great. But the problem was, I did have a friend that had a Roland MT-32. And again, his parents, I forget, his dad was in something that technical, and he got so he was always getting all of the latest technology at their home that had all kinds of cool stuff. So that was after I had already got my Sound Blaster. I was really happy, but then I went over to my friend's house, and he fired up, I think the game he actually started was Conquests of Camelot, which has a really nice piano interlude followed by a sort of medieval instrumental. It's really nice too, but for the sake of comparison, I'm going to play the same version, the same game here, so you can tell the difference in the version going from PC speaker to the Sound Blaster, now going from the Sound Blaster to what the MT-32 was capable of. And if you'll notice down here, you can see there it was neat too. It would also send little messages using sysx data, which was used to program the MT-32, but could also be used to do advanced sound effects, which the Sierra composers were masters at. They were unbelievable, which I'll let you hear once this starts up. Go to the other start of the game.
The first sequence is engaged. 15 minutes till destination.
Alright, so you can hear, I mean, it's a huge difference. I mean, it's going from, beeps and boops up to nice, FM synthesis music to almost an orchestral sounding soundtrack. It's really nice. A great effect this was used to. Let me do one more while I have everything hooked up here. Another one that a lot of people really like was the opening to Wing Commander. And you can see it outputs a message origin sound system to the MT-32 display, which is kind of cool. Still gets me pumped up after all these years. Let me, for reverse effect, let me change it back to the Sound Blaster ad-lib soundtrack so that you can hear the difference going the other way. So this is after I left my friend's house and I came back home. This was sort of the effect that I experienced. And again, it's not bad. I mean, it's the Sound Blaster was really great, but just a bit underwhelming after you have the wavetable synthesis of the Roland. Alright. Anyway, I just want to share with you guys, I was really excited about picking up the MT-32. Again, it's one of those things that I probably could have done if I'd thought about it, 15 years ago even, when these really became much more affordable. The LAPCI, which was a self-contained add-in card, if not the external model that I have here, but I'm really having fun with it. Now, to be fair, you can configure DOSBox to emulate the MT-32, and it sounds pretty much perfect. Here, if I will change the settings, if I can reach around my camera, let's change it. I'm going to change the MIDI device to the MT-32 emulator. Alright, so let me, and this you should be able to tell, because if it sounds like they're rolling in, we don't see the numbers flickering here, that the channels are being activated, then that should mean that it's using the internal emulation. So let's go back to the S drive and kick off Space Quest 1 again, so you can hear how that sounds. And you can see on my Roland, it's not activating the in and out MIDI lights. So this should be purely running off of the MT-32 emulation that's in DOSBox, which incidentally is fantastic, and in some ways is even superior to an actual MT-32. So you can tell it's not using the MT-32 now. This is all emulation running inside of DOSBox. As you can tell, sounds pretty much identical. I can't tell a difference, except if you turn the volume up, actually, the emulated MT-32 doesn't have any distortion or popping that sometimes happens on the actual MT-32. You see some of the channel volumes actually work better. You can hear the crash of the Syrian ship attacking the Space Quest ship a lot more clearly than you can on an actual MT-32. But everything else sounds practically identical.
The threat sequence is engaged. 15 minutes till detonation.
Alright, so that's all I want to share. Like I said, I'll have to post this to the Share Your Collection thread. But anyway, hope you guys are having fun with your gaming and get collecting, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.